Cut that.
Talk about dark.
Yo,
Hello and welcome to the Lunchbox reviews. We are doing Hawkeye episode 6, the finale. It is called So This Is Christmas. I'm joined today by Michelle.
hello.
And Alex.
Hey.
And so, since this is the time of giving, if you are enjoying our content, please give us a like and subscribe. It is, after all, the holidays. So before we go on to spoilers, let's talk about our initial thoughts for the finale episode. What do you guys think?
All right. I'll go. It was pretty good. I wouldn't hold it up to the better Marvel shows, in terms of tiers. It's in there, well, because there's only 4 of them, but it was fun. It was nice. It was heartfelt, heartwarming. It hit all the beats. What they did do wrong was an important part of it felt really rushed through and weird overall. And
Taking away talking about, but yeah.
We're talking about your shirt there, or what your shirt represents. That's basically it. But and that kind of put a downer on everything, because all the spoilers and everything hinged on that. Kind of all the spoilers for No Way Home hinged on a certain something, and that was a huge payoff. This was kind of the antithesis of that, and yeah.
I agree. I mean, I think as far as the show goes, this wasn't one of the stronger episodes of this show itself, which is disappointing, because I feel like you always want the finale to be the best, if not one of the best episodes of the show, and it wasn't that for me. It's good and it's festive, and I enjoyed those aspects of it. I think the wrapping up of some storylines worked really well for me, and then some of them just really fell short. So overall, it was kind of like a meh. And then there is the this isn't a spoiler, but the credits scene or whatever ruined a lot for me, honestly. It left me kind of confused and annoyed, which kind of took away from my overall enjoyment of the episode. I wish I'd turned it off right when the credits started rolling. So there's that as well.
Yeah, basically I feel the same as you guys. That kind of big reveal that I was waiting for didn't pan out as much as I would like it to. And again, with Michelle, with the mid-credit scene was really it really bothered me. But we'll talk about that later. But I did like the episode and the series overall. Once you embrace sort of the silliness aspect of it, you get to enjoy it more. And so we're gonna go to spoilers now. We're gonna talk about the first act and the details. So we finally see our boy Kingpin, aka Wilson Fisk. Eleanor Bishop is with Wilson as she tries to get out of whatever arrangement they have, because this time Kate is involved and Eleanor doesn't want that. So also Clint acknowledges that him and Kate are partners. There's that kind of a tense moment there. It's you know what, we're partners. So they're gonna try and fix this mess together. And while that's happening, Maya is trying to convince Kingpin that she is over hunting the Ronin. Of course, she's lying, but the Kingpin also kind of knows her bullshit. So at the end, he tells Kazi to remind the people that the city belongs to him. So let's talk about the first act and our official appearance of Mr. Wilson Fisk. Let's talk about it.
I think underwhelmed might be a word for what I felt. For this character that I was really, really excited for, and how powerful he is, and the influence he has, I just felt it didn't come across well in this scene. And we'll talk about it more after, how it goes for the rest of the episode. But in this scene of him just kind of deferring to Kazi, being go remind people, I'm Kazi's lame. Dollar Store Jon Snow's not gonna do shit. Like the sweatsuit mafia or whatever, like they're a joke, and him directing this joke by extension makes him feel like more of a joke. So as a character, he didn't feel that foreboding. Like he wasn't as scary as I thought, especially because they like Hawkeye had been like, this is who I was afraid of. I was like, you're afraid of the dude in the Hawaiian shirt who's telling Dollar Store Jon Snow to go like do something. It doesn't do anything for me. It didn't feel like the stakes were high. It didn't feel like he was actually going to do much. And I feel like I'm kind of right, because it didn't feel like that much happened after that.
Yeah, I mean, this is probably like the peak of Kingpin, like just having him talk and sounding threatening. That was a lot more effective than like what they turned him into at the end, which we'll get to, which was like, just bizarre, so weird. But here it was like, yeah, Kingpin was in his element, but like Michelle said, the stakes aren't high because, like, yeah, they're the tracksuit guys, they're jobbers. Kaz is a loser and a dweeb. Echo's badass, but like, you know, she's like sort of turning good. But then, like, if you know the Kingpin, you know that he always has something in his back pocket, which is like, you know, Bullseye or Elektra at one point. You know, he's got assassins. He's got, even though a widow, like Yelena should have been like his thing. So yeah, so it was just so weird. But yeah, we'll get to the weird Kingpin stuff later, I guess. But yeah, this is peak Kingpin on the show, I guess.
Yeah. Again, one of the more exciting aspects of this show was kind of waiting for the Kingpin to arrive. And when he got there, like, it's the same Kingpin, the voice, but for some reason it feels weird that, you know, as somebody who's watching, you're kind of like, this Kingpin isn't really that scary. I mean, I don't know, maybe it had to do with the lighting. The Daredevil lighting is always kind of like in shadows, dark. And this one, he's just slight and had a Hawaiian shirt on, which was also kind of weird. But I know they did that in the comics too. So yeah, I was just expecting a lot more from this Kingpin, and what I got was like kind of, I hate to say this, but the dollar store version of the Kingpin, it is not as well written, at least for now, as like the Daredevil Kingpin. So in that aspect, I was, I guess, a bit disappointed. So let's move on to the second act. We started off with a cool montage of Clint and Kate making trick arrows. This is where Kate opens up to Clint about why she wanted to be a hero in the first place and why Clint is her hero. The tracksuits set up their plan as Kate and Clint arrive at the party, where Kate reveals that their LARPer buddies are there as backup. Sure, why not? And as soon as Kazi fires the first shot, this is where the episode's action sequence commences. There's a lot of cool scenes. Kate and Clint versus the tracksuit. Kate versus Yelena. Jack joins in, swings his sword a little bit. Trick arrows galore. And then we got an emotional fight scene between Yelena and Clint as they talk about Natasha. Then there's Kazi and Maya fight. Maya wins. Kazi dead, so we don't get to be confused when Kit Harington shows up again. That's cool. This time, Kate tries to save his mother by fighting the ridiculously OP Wilson Fisk. Maya shows up and shoots Wilson, but the camera pans up while that happens, so we never really saw. Yeah, let's get on this second act. What do you guys think? Thoughts, feelings?
When you say it like that, I'm like, wow, that is a lot. Like, that's a hefty sequence. There were parts of this that I genuinely loved. I actually liked the LARPers showing up more than I thought I would. When I realized, like, it took me a second to realize like who the waiters were. I was like, why is this relevant? And then I realized who they were, and I was like, oh, that's kind of fun to kind of bring them in as the waiters. Like, that part was really funny. Them putting on their little outfits, I don't know if I really loved that part where it went that far. But them being involved and kind of helping with the headpieces, like that all was fun. I liked that. The Yelena Kate Bishop fight was, I think, the most fun fight. Like it wasn't the most high stakes fight or anything like that. It was just the shot of that,
fun.
like
It was a really
going
fun
through the
fight.
building and them going through each room and like throwing things and kind of like complimenting each other along the way of like, that was a good kick, that was this. I loved that. I really like the two of them together. Like I love the rapport they have as characters on screen. Like I just think that's super fun. So that sequence for me, even though it felt a little, it was longer, was the perfect amount. Like I really thoroughly enjoyed it. And then the last thing I enjoyed, like I loved the sweat suits on the ice rink, that whole trick arrow shenanigans. That was like, that felt like the actual climax, like the pinnacle fight, even though I don't think it was supposed to feel that way, because afterwards we get the Wilson fight and that didn't feel like the climax to me. That felt just awkward, and we'll, I'm sure, talk more about that. But the ice rink fight felt like the true climax of the show, and up to that point I was on board. I'm here for it. I was loving every second of that. So
yeah, I'm with you, Michelle, for most of that. The Yelena Kate stuff is great. I love their interactions. They have a really good rapport. Yeah, the skating rink action sequence. It was cool to get back to, I think it was episode 3 where you saw all the trick arrows and stuff. Yeah, it was really neat to see that. The LARPers I could do without. I'll just say that. Like by the time they put on their costumes, I'm like, all right, this show's got to end soon. But just kill Clint, kill him already, kill him. No, but that was a really heavy emotional climax between Yelena and Clint. It was everything it needed to be, which is why they probably should have. They were juggling too many balls because you needed Echo's climax, you needed Kate's climax, and Clint as well. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So like that was too much because they probably should have spent. Not that they didn't spend enough time on Clint and Yelena, but you know, like too much attention was being diverted from that. Fair enough to Echo. I don't think the character could hold her own show right now, or if ever. So like I'm looking forward to like hopefully a Daredevil thing, because the way it ended is, you know, spoiler for the comics, Echo did shoot Kingpin in the head, but like it rendered him blind. Yeah, there we go. So, which is like a pretty cool, you know, counterpoint to Daredevil, who's actually blind. And lastly, I do want to speak on Kate Bishop versus Kingpin, a guy who's ripping off like car doors and like taking arrows to the chest. Like he must punch like cinder blocks, and like the same problem I had in the first episode where Kate was getting like taking too much abuse. Like this is tenfold in this episode where like an actual metahuman is just destroying her and she keeps getting up. It was too out there, too bizarre. My disbelief, like it couldn't handle it. Couldn't handle this. And yeah, I'll just say for Kingpin, because right now he's in the middle of a Marvel Comics crossover that's based on his shenanigans, because he's mayor of New York, and like he puts it pretty well in a little thing that he says, that like his power is in his secrets. It's in what he could do, not in what he does. And like this is like, them Disney getting Kingpin wrong, because Kingpin would never be there. He would be in a skyscraper somewhere in a party. He'd be partying somewhere, and he would have sent like actual hitmen to kill everyone, and it probably would have gotten done. So like, yeah, this is just
him doing something is basically the last resort for Kingpin.
Exactly.
He's gonna throw everything at you, and then if nothing else works, then he does something.
Exactly. He certainly like barely kills people. Yeah. You know, like it's just weird. Yeah.
Yeah, I have to agree with both of you again, although I do agree with Alex more with the LARPers. I think that that was pretty not necessary by Clint and Kate to include civilians, even though they are kind of
They're civilians,
law
technically.
enforcement, so they have some training there. But still, like, the less people you can get killed, that should be the thing, right? It was a great scene with Kate and Yelena, and like you guys said, they have great rapport.
Yeah.
And I do wish to see those two kind of partner up or go at each other again. And again, lastly, just to come back to Alex's point about Kingpin, I'm like, what? Are you a mutant all of a sudden with strength powers? He ripped off a car door, and Kate getting up from all that. Yeah, I know you're a super athlete, but I'd be dead getting thrown at the wall, not once or twice, but a few times. So yeah, that was just, man. Yeah, again, the disappointing part about this episode is the fact that they didn't handle Kingpin properly, and I'm assuming he's coming back, because you know what, that'll be for the big question later on. But yeah, let's move on to the final act. Clint finally gets back to his family for Christmas. He invited Kate and Lucky and introduces them to the family, and we finally get the answer to the watch, and it belongs to Laura. And it's, as it says in the on the watch, it's an Agents of Shield watch with the number 19, aka Agent 19, aka Mockingbird. And
Hey.
Clint and Kate burn the Ronin suit as she figures out a nickname for herself. Kind of funny. And then we get the mid-credit scene, which is a musical number. Yeah, thoughts, guys?
Okay, so really this whole act 3 on is where I just have many issues. Like from the Wilson fist fight onwards, I'm not happy. Number one, I feel like, and this is maybe just me, I would be really upset if I was Lila, his daughter, his actual daughter, who he taught to shoot a bow and arrow, and he just brings home his new replacement daughter for Christmas. I'm sorry. Like, I get it that Kate has no family now because she put her mom in jail, but she's also 22. Like, she can go and be on her own. She literally is okay. Like, that's fine. And I don't know, it just felt like they didn't give Lila actually the closure she deserved as a character. Because the whole time she was like, come home for Christmas. I really want to see you for Christmas. Da da da. She gets one line in that sequence being like, wow, you're home. Like,
and hi to
girl.
Kate. Hi.
Yeah, hi. Like, oh man, if I was Lila, I'd be like getting ready to put my supervillain pants on because I'm about to fight Kate Bishop for my dad's love. Like, it felt really, I don't know, it felt weird. It didn't feel like a family ending like I'd hoped. Because it was just became a Kate and Clint story, and it wasn't about him reuniting with his family. They felt like a really weird footnote at the end of this, which was not what I wanted from the top of this series. So that mid-credit musical number, that musical number is really great in the first episode in parts, and then when you're sitting there watching it, I was watching with my friends, and one of them pointed out, like, this is the equivalent of a 9/11 musical. And that's kind of spicy.
That kind of makes sense.
Yeah, it's accurate. I couldn't argue with her. I was like, no, you're straight up right. Like, that is literally what it is. It's like, let's go to the site of 9/11 and do a musical about the firefighters that died on 9/11. Like, that's the equivalent of this attack. And so when put like that, and just in seeing it in all its weirdness, it just felt stupid. And then, of course, it didn't help having seen Spider-Man, and I don't want to spoil more Spider-Man, but like, it's out now. The Multiverse of Madness trailer was the post-credit for Spider-Man. It's already on YouTube, so like, go watch it. But I'm sorry, you're gonna have that as a post-credit for the movie, and then you're gonna have like this weird musical number as a post-credit for the show. The discrepancy is huge. It was so disappointing. So I wish they just hadn't done that and just let it end, truly. I'm angry. Justice for Lila.
that whole 9/11 analog is really like out there. I can't even speak to that because it's pretty dark. It's pretty dark. But I will speak to Lila, and it's basically this. She got her arc. She got her dad back. That's it. That is her character arc. She's lumped in with her kids. Sorry, with her siblings. They got their daddy back. They got their Christmas back on track. That's literally it. Sorry, Michelle, but Kate Bishop is heir apparent because she's been working her whole life, and her story arc is literally brought to this moment to when hey, I've got an idea for your name, and then boop, Hawkeye, because Kate's Hawkeye, and that's the sweet simple story that you have. The sidekicks. She lost her family in the process. She earned a new father figure, let's say, and that's why Lila is happy where she is, because she lives on a remote farm in the middle of nowhere, and that seems like a sweet life. But no, they should have just not done that mid-credits thing. Like I get it. It was like a joke, but it's like, yeah, the joke ran on a little too long. Like you had this footage. All right, we get it. You could post it on YouTube. It'd be kind of funny for YouTube, but like, just run the credits.
Right? Yeah.
Good. Or have Lucky, do something funny, because like everyone loves a dog, and kind of something charming. Yeah, kind of weird. That's it.
You know what I was thinking of? That whole third act was The Watch. So I wasn't really thinking about anything else but The Watch. So we're right. So it does belong to Mockingbird, and it is Laura, or I guess can't remember Mockingbird's real name in the comics, but I'm guessing she changed it to Laura. Connie, Corey, I don't know. I don't remember.
I forgot.
Yeah. But so that means the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. doesn't exist. That show. I mean, the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. show. Goodbye. Thank you. Not the greatest show. Watched everything, but it wasn't the greatest show. And man, I'm in general, I'm not a big fan of musicals. And having that as your mid-credit scene kind of ruined it for me. I didn't care about it one bit. And it's not for, that you needed that. That was cool. Again, you guys mentioned it. It should have been just like a extra YouTube thing, like they did with the dancing. What's his name?
Zemo.
Zemo. Yeah.
Like they showed a little bit of Zemo, and then they posted a YouTube thing of him dancing to a longer song, and that was great. And I do agree, if there was no plans for any end credits or mid credits, show Lucky doing something. Have Lucky grab a piece of pizza from their table, a food, something. Anyway, yeah, so that's my thought on that. And I guess for the big question of the episode, do we think this is kind of a, depending on your answer, but I guess it's probably obvious, do you think Wilson Fisk is alive, and where do you think he will show up next?
Oh yeah, they like no one of Wilson Fisk, like the character stature, is getting killed off screen like that, right? Like I don't even know if he did actually get shot. That's another question. You never know.
So
but yeah.
OP that he just probably did this to the gun and nothing happened to him.
yeah, he just stuck his finger right in there like Bugs Bunny. Yeah, it just blew at the other end and killed Echo. Bye, Echo. And she wasn't called Echo, was she? No, it's just Maya. Right. Okay. All right. Well,
yeah, she never made it there.
No. Yeah, well, I don't think she's making it there either, because I don't see an Echo show on the cards. I don't know if I see a Daredevil show. I really hope. I don't know if it meshes well with the Disney Plus format of everything being chipper. Although Daredevil could bounce around between like happy joy, but he does have his dark moments.
Man, I don't want.
Yeah, I know exactly.
I don't have that happy joy tone.
I know. So Dude, I don't know. It's weird. It's weird. I don't know. Yeah, Disney's kind of overdoing it with the. It has its place, right? Like upbeat, all this stuff. Okay, cool. But like at a certain point, it's like, well, if you're doing, let's just see how Moon Knight, turns out.
That's what I was
Like,
gonna say.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I want to see. If they can do dark, it like we'll know by the time Moon Knight and I guess Blade comes around. But
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think, yeah, like Alex said, he's alive. We all know this. There's no, it wouldn't make sense to not, like, if he did die, to not show it to us in some capacity. That's kind of silly. He's gonna show up again. I just, like, at this point, I don't know if I'm happy about it. I'm disappointed overall, and I don't, this isn't Fisk, this isn't the Fisk that we deserved or that we wanted.
Yeah.
To be fair. So even if he does come back, I don't think it's going to have the impact that it should have to begin with. Because I'm sorry, you can't have this dude get hit by a car and fly through a wall and not make me laugh. And I'm sorry, I'm not supposed to laugh at Fisk. That's crazy. So I laughed for 90% of his screen time, and that is just a sign of how wrong it went.
How was that car able to get to that velocity?
Made no sense, because literally it was like 2 seconds in between. So how'd she like get into the like swing the car around, drive down the block, drive up the block, hit him? It literally made no sense. I'm like, who put this scene in here, and how did it get here? And I didn't say it, but I need to circle back because Alex, you said it. Kate should have been battered and bruised and bloody with at least like every broken rib, like at the very least, just from her getting hit in the chest by this man. I'm sorry, he got hit by a car. The strength that he could probably output if he can take getting hit by a car is enough to crush your little girl body. There's no way. There's no way.
Yeah.
No. And like, if the tracksuit mafia can make her bleed, why didn't Fisk really make her bleed more?
Yeah.
I mean, if you can take off a car door, you can take off a person's arm. That's it. And yeah, to answer my own question, film 101, if somebody is shot off screen, they're not dead. So again, I'm hoping that this Echo series will have, kind of the Maya and Daredevil and Kingpin thing happening. But I do need to see what Moon Knight looks like, because I know it's just trailers, but judging from the trailer, it looks pretty dark. So far so good in the 7-second trailer that we saw, or whatever teaser. So yeah, let's do our final thoughts and our score for Hawkeye.
Sure, I'll go first. I honestly was not thinking of a score, but like, it had its ups and downs. Like, if you rewatch the first episode, like we were all pretty much on the same page of like what was gonna happen, and it pretty much did happen. And then when you combine rumors, like when you add that factor, then that means there was really nothing, too surprising about the show. It really didn't have a lot of surprises. It was okay. It was middling. I couldn't see it was really that bad, because like the emotional parts are really well done, and the acting was also really well done. But yeah, I'd give it a 6 out of 10 if we're doing out of 10.
Yep.
Yeah, we're doing out of 10. All right.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm letting like my disappointment in the final episode like really spoil my overall enjoyment of the show, because up to like last night or whatever, when I watched it, I was really like, Hawkeye's so good, everyone should watch it. I was like recommending it left, right, and center. Like, I made my friends watch it, and I watched it all again with them. I sat and watched all of the first like 4 episodes again recently, and I enjoyed every minute of it. I'm like, yeah, it's so good. And now that it's ended, I'm like, oh, I didn't really like it. And I think I'm forgetting that I did like it. So for all of that, like a bummer finale, but like a solid show, I feel like I'm going to give it still like a 7.5. Also, it's still festive. And I might watch it again next December just for like the festive vibes, because they nailed it. They nailed the festive vibes. And That was what I wanted. I want a good time and festive vibes, and Clint not to die. So I technically got everything I wanted.
Damn it.
For me, it was a fun show. It started off slow. The middle part was really good, and then faltered just at the end. But we did get great character moments from Clint, Yelena. Good introduction to Kate, which is a really cool addition to the MCU world. And you know what? I'm gonna be in between you guys, and I'm gonna give it a 7. So that,
Hey.
yeah, sorry.
Wait, I just want to add because it's kind of like a recurring thing where like Marvel shows or Disney Plus Marvel shows, like the last episode, it doesn't do it for us for the most part.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Like we were all like, I'm sure if I remember correctly, we all loved the Loki last episode, but that was like more of a cliffhanger than anything. COVID kind of, put the kibosh on that. But like, yeah, WandaVision we hated. This one, and I can't remember Falcon Winter Soldier.
I feel like we were okay. It was like, it was okay.
We were indifferent, kind of.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No.
And then What If was hot trash.
Ooh, garbage.
One great episode, and that's about it.
Yeah.
So MCU,
Not
maybe you
sticking
watch
the
us.
landing.
Fix your endings, man. So with that, thank you so much for joining us. We do wish you a happy holidays. Once again, please check out everything Lunchbox has to offer. This is coming out the 24th, and the 26th we have a cool special for you guys. We're going back to fan casting, and you're either gonna love us or hate us some more. Once again, I'm joined by Michelle and Alex, and we'll see you next time. Peace.
Bye.